Clears it. Too much. Thomas.
Enter your participant ID followed by pound. Otherwise, You are in the meeting now. There is one other participant in the meeting.
Hey, Marty,
Hey, Tom.
you hear me okay?
I can.
Okay, I've got you going through the speakers, and I meant to get on the... No, yeah, everything's good. Okay, if you hear me good, I hear you good, we're ready to roll.
Yeah, you're the host now. So
I am, man. My one.
you should be
And
able,
they,
I changed it to you.
okay, and I just made it so all participants can share.
Excellent.
I didn't have that option last time for some reason. I don't know what the heck my problem was, but we're good to go now.
Good, good. How's your day going?
It's going good. The last 2.5, 3 days or whatever, I've had like a feverish flu kind of thing. Yeah, so my head's kind of all messed up.
Take care of yourself.
Yeah. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. It's
Excellent.
not a busy Friday for me, so I sort of took half the day off.
Good.
Yeah, slowed down a little bit.
I met with, oops.
Hello, the show.
Hello, yo.
Hey,
This is Tom. How are you?
Good, good, Tom. How are you?
I'm
Joel, how are
good.
you doing?
Thank you.
Marty,
Hey, Marty, how are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Good. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Thank you for the invitation for next Friday.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. We're looking forward to that. I've already reviewed it with some of the partners and with the CEO, Bruce, and got a message back that they definitely are looking forward to that time with you and with Tom.
Good. As promised, I'll have something for you by Tuesday afternoon to send out in advance.
That'll be great, Marty. Thank you.
Yoel, where's home? Where are you at right now?
Yeah, I'm in Atlanta area. I'm in a city called Cumming.
Yeah.
About you may be familiar with Atlanta, about 40 miles north of
Yeah.
downtown.
Good.
So,
You're sending us some stormy weather.
yes, we
Yeah,
had quite a bit. We
yeah.
get a lot of rain here, so
Yeah.
we definitely have had it. And you guys are where? In Boston, right?
I'm up in Fairfield, Connecticut.
Okay, in Connecticut. All right.
And Tom is out in Texas.
Yeah, I worked in when I was at UPS. I spent a couple of years in when the corporate office was in Greenwich, Connecticut.
Yeah.
I spent 2 years in Greenwich, Connecticut, and I think isn't Fairfield maybe the first town in Connecticut?
You basically go Greenwich, Stamford, Norwalk, Westport, Fairfield.
Okay, all right. I know I had some really good Italian food out there, so I do remember that part. It's hard to beat the food that's in Connecticut and some of those.
Yeah, no, we've got a lot of good restaurants.
Yeah,
a lot of
absolutely.
good chefs. I think that mostly because the New York crowd appreciates, good New York workers who come out. They have good standards for food. So
Yeah, it really is. I just it's hard to equal that. You hear a lot about restaurants and all that, but I think it something that's very real and authentic. It's I was surprised. I didn't know that Connecticut was that good with that, but definitely enjoyed my time there.
good. Where'd you live? What town did you live in?
I was in Greenwich and I stayed in Stamford.
Okay.
Yeah, just one town over. So
Yeah.
familiar with Norwalk and all that area up there.
Yeah,
Fairfield.
Stanford's good growing community.
Yeah, it is. The tough part for UPS was that they were trying to it was very difficult for people to transfer over to Greenwich and live in Greenwich with the cost of living, of course, as you know, is just absolutely ridiculous over there.
Outrageous.
So they had two problems. One, people didn't want to transfer to the corporate up in Greenwich and work there. Or the other was they were living in somewhere in New Jersey and having a 2-hour commute to and 2-hour from train, bus, and all the things they did.
Yeah.
And one of the best things they did eventually when they moved to Atlanta, and I ended up finishing my career at the Atlanta corporate office, they were truly able to then get the workforce and some other things they could get done. Actually, almost the entire 2,000 people, I believe, moved from Greenwich to Atlanta.
Wow.
Ah,
Yeah.
Obviously, a lot of good benefits with that company.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, these are staunch New Yorkers and Northerners who said
Yeah.
they would never, ever leave. And if they retired, they would all move back. Well, none of them retired and moved back. They're all still here. So,
Well, Atlanta's not, you know, I mean, that's sort of the most northern, southern town. So it's not a bad, not a hard change for people, I don't think.
no, and you know, Atlanta, it's pretty well made out of mostly a huge amount of people from the Northeast and from
Yep.
the North. Atlanta is huge. I mean, a lot of Italians here in Atlanta, uh, a lot of Irish folks here. I mean, it's just amazing. It's great to see all that. I mean, it's truly a very mixed community.
It is, yeah. Well, Tom's going to carry you most of the way through. I'm going to hang out for a few minutes just to
Okay.
make sure that.
Yeah, I did get Tom's email. I signed up on the site. Tom, I changed the password, so but I am on the site.
oh, great. Great. I changed the look and feel to try to make it look something like what you'd be, it would be more towards your brand. I don't know if my subjective ideas was that good, but we can change it if you'd like to change it.
It looks you got the colors right, and that's where they're very critical about the colors. Is that somebody said it's what is it, Auburn colors or crimson colors or whatever, Alabama. But anyway, it's the old UK because we are with UK, and now of course Argon. It's going to change to Argon with our partner with our combining with France. They're larger. So we started off with Crimson in UK, and now it's going to become Argon and Co. We're just transitioning into that with France
Nice.
is much bigger, so they took it over.
Is that a merger or was that an acquisition?
So I believe the Crimson and Co. was a acquisition
Mhm.
in UK. That was an acquisition by Argon. Our piece, the North America piece, and the India office that we have, we are still maintaining, if you will, our independent entity.
Okay.
So we've merged, but the financials are still, if you will, individually. Our financials are totally separate from what Argon and Crimson have.
Keep those incentive programs going, right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So we're not as huge as those guys are. I mean, Crimson, I think, had in UK, you're talking about 50 people, 50,
Okay.
60. Argon was up to 200. We are more senior consultants. They do have the junior consultants, and they don't have as many senior consultants. They're more ours, because of the work we've done. Crimson's been around 30 some years. That's really what the clients want. They want that, but we're trying to transition some with interns, and we realize we need to bring some of those college grads and so forth. So we are doing a little bit of that. It needs to be done because we're all at some point we need some type of succession planning and transition.
Yeah. Hey, Tom,
Marty,
I'm
go
gonna,
ahead, I'm sorry.
yeah, I'm just gonna mute myself and then make a call to Marcelo.
Oh, okay. I'm going to go ahead and get started. Is that all right?
Yeah. Fine.
Okay. Yo,
Yes, Tom, go ahead.
if you don't mind, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, let's work from your side.
Okay.
And when Marcella comes in, if he comes in, what we'll do is we'll share the load between the two of you. But I think we can probably learn a lot more if we're actually driving the car versus watching me drive it. So what do you say? Go ahead, and if you would, share either the internet or
You want
your
me to
desktop.
share my screen?
Oh, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, let me share my screen, and then you can, let me see, let me do this. And then you want me to share that website, right?
Yes, that would be perfect. Are you ready to learn a lot?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right.
I'm really, I've become kind of a evangelist for you guys on this. Hopefully,
Well,
can you guys see this?
I can see it perfectly. Yes, I can.
Okay, cool.
So there's three different leg stools to this product. There's the visual workplace components that help clients become, more of a visual workplace. Then there's the project management system that helps people, companies deploy Lean and Six Sigma better. And then there's the training portal. I think what we'll do is we'll start with the training portal first. So if you would, over there where it says training portal, there's a hyperlink at the top right corner. Let's go ahead and go in there first. And just realize though, once we go into the training portal, we're leaving the project management system and we're leaving the visual workplace behind. So we're gonna focus right now on the training platform. And just as a overview or a summary, the main purpose of this training portal is to create basically a virtual school that you can have instructor-led training remotely. I mean, that's really what it is. So it's basically classrooms. It's all your books and your coursework. It all gets housed in the classrooms, and then you invite people into your classroom and you conduct class. So anybody that's either a senior or a junior consultant that's done training in the past, this doesn't change what they do. It just changes where they do it at. So whatever they used to use for training material and props and all that, they just continue to use it. So let's go ahead and take a look at how this works.
That's
Now,
one of
you're
the parts I
logged in.
liked about this, Tom, was that it wasn't like this is totally separate and somehow you've actually made it's integrated to some of the work that we've done. And I think it'll go very well when you talk to the consultants on Friday about this also next week.
Well, great. I mean, for me, what I find usually is the case, and this is part of just experience with Lean Six Sigma as well, but there's usually a lot of good things that are going on, and then there's some gaps. And I want to fill the gaps without throwing away the good things. So, I mean, if you've got a lot of good things going on, but there's a pandemic and you can't get access, let's say, to people physically, this is basically saying, do what you've done, but let's give you a place to do it safely without hurting you or harming your clients. So, having said that, right now what we're looking at is the classroom view, but it's not set up yet too much because we just built it for you. So let's go ahead and set it up. Over there on the left, you'll see a hyperlink that says trainer access. Let's start there. There's 4 hyperlinks, right there. This only the teachers or the trainers have access to this area. So the students don't see this. This is your area to be able to set up your school, basically. So let's start. There's 6 blue buttons, and the top blue buttons from left to right, they're in the order that you'd want to use them. So the first thing we'd want to do is we'd want to construct the classroom. So let's go in there first. Pretty easy to do. What I do is by default, I give you a classroom with 10 different physical, virtually physical built rooms. So the first thing you're going to want to do, you only have to really do this typically maybe once in a while, but typically just once. You're going to set up, what are the core training packages or services that we provide. And so for every one of these, I put in 10, but if you don't like the way they're named, or if that's not what you teach, or if you have some more high-level executive training that, you want to define, just go ahead and if you would, just so that we can exercise how to do it, because you can do it completely offline once we're done. But let's go ahead and take one of these courses and hit the edit button next to the course that you want to adjust. And what you'll see is you can change the name here. That's all it is. Once you change the name, you've got a new classroom. And you can also disable it. There's a little disable checkbox there as well. So you can disable it if you want to disable it. You can enable it if you don't want to disable it. And then click update, and you're good to go. So that's how you set up your classrooms.
Okay.
Any questions?
No, this is perfect because, we have a lot of, I put CLP, our Certified Lean Practitioner program, which is we developed online, but we also do Lean boot camps, which are in person. And there's a whole bunch that we do from a training perspective, but also from a project perspective where we train and then we use the training day 2, we go in the operation, we implement what we learned and all of that. So I think this fits fits in very nicely with some of that. I mean, I can definitely fill up the screen. Definitely could use some of the headings you have: Lean Principle, 5S, Kaizen. Those are definitely
Gotcha.
common things. Yeah.
If you need more than 10 classrooms, just let me know. We'll add to that. I just didn't want the screen to be too overwhelming or too complex, but by default, we have 10 there, okay?
Yeah, this is good. This is good.
Okay, once you get your classrooms set up, the next thing we got to do is we got to get the classrooms, fitted up with books and things like that. So go ahead and hit finished. And now we're going to go to the second button, which is classroom preparation. So now we've got 10 classrooms. We're up to 10. You can have maybe 5 of them disabled if you want, but however many you want. And now what we're going to do is we're going to, so up at the top there, see where it says training material? And there's a yellow drop-down list. Go ahead and hit that yellow drop-down list. And what you'll see is you'll see a list of all your training rooms or classrooms that you don't have disabled. Okay, so for this CLP program, right now by default, you've got these empty folders. That's LVR. I'm not providing the material. You've got the material. I'm just giving you a place to do the work. So you can delete any of those folders. You can rename them. You can add subfolders and folders. In other words, you construct this the way that would be best for you to be able to have effective training for your students.
This is great. This is good.
So let's go for a moment just to make sure we're comfortable with. So again, you would take your existing material, and let's say for exercises you had an Excel workbook or whatever that would be. Down below, I don't see it on your screen, but because it's a little bit too big for your screen. But if you scroll down, you'll see a browse button. You can either open up Windows Explorer and drag files into here, or you can hit browse and go find files. But that's how you populate this. You can add as many at one time as you want. So, I mean, if you open up Windows Explorer, you can actually drag a whole folder in there if you want.
Right. Okay.
But that's how you do it.
That works.
Okay. So we've done step 1 and step 2, classroom construction and classroom preparation. So we first build the 10 classrooms, we populate it with the training material, and now it's time to actually open up shop. It's time to open up the school and get ready to schedule some training. So let's go to training schedule. Okay, so now we're gonna I just by default I gave you one called white belt training, but let's say you wanted to start a training event for the CLP or yellow belt or anything you want. Go ahead and pick a course of what that you're going to schedule. Let's say for July or August or whenever you. Now you can give the class a name. So let's say that you was going to teach a public class. This might just be CLP training, whatever. But you can also make this Alcoa or UPS or FedEx. So it just gives it more granularity, okay? And then once you've got it filled out there, go ahead and hit Build Class, and then Schedule Event.
Class. Create event, right? Okay.
Or Create Event, I'm sorry.
I got it. Okay, I see it.
Now let's go back, if you would, the training schedule one more time, that third button on the top left. Okay, so you can see there too, you can always delete them. Any event you don't want anymore, you can delete them from here. So you can play around, you can disable them and such from here as well. So just showing you that that's what we've done. So if you would go ahead and if you want to add another one, you can. If you're good to go, we'll go ahead and hit cancel. It'll take us back to where we was.
I'm good. I'm good here, Tom.
Okay, perfect. All right, now from here, this is not any of the blue button areas, but what you're looking at here is the training data. So if you wanted to look at, let's say, the CLP training data, and there's nobody in your event yet, so this won't make sense, but see where it says choose event in yellow as a drop-down list? If you pull that down, yeah, and then go to, let's go to the white belt. Yeah, that's the one I created for you.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll see you, because I created this and I made you one of the participants.
Okay.
If you did any work in the classroom, this is where your work would reside. So if you were a participant or a trainee, and let's say you did some work, this is where it would go. This is where it would go. They don't need to. I mean, it's easy for them. Most of the complexity is on you. I wanted to make the school have a lot of functionality, but for the students, it's pretty much plug and play. Okay,
This
so
works
let's
good.
see.
I can assign the names, I can assign the topic, kind of like you did, so that works.
Yeah, so now what we're going to do is we're going to actually enable, or we're going to enroll you into another class now. See where it says white belt starting 524 up there, that drop down list? Let's select the other course, the one that you just scheduled, the CLP training. Perfect. Now under the folder assignments, there's no students.
Right.
So let's go see how to put a student in your class. So the first three buttons at the top, one was build the classroom, one was to prepare the classroom, and then the third one was the training schedule. Now that we've scheduled 2 courses, now it's time to go to the administrative department and get some students enrolled into class. Okay?
Okay.
That's the workflow. So let's go down there where it says trainee administration. That's the fourth workflow in building a school. Okay, now here's another workflow. This is in the administrative department. So there's 4 buttons there. Really, only the first 2 are really needed. The first one is to set to be able to provide user credentials. So if somebody's going to want to be a trainee in your system, you got to give them a username and password. So the first button is to give them a username and password. The second button is to define what are you giving them access to. If let's say you had 15 or 20 scheduled events, they may only be allowed to go into one of them. So you can then assign them which classes are they going to be actually eligible to attain to go in with you.
Okay.
And then the last one, account status, that just shows really, I'll show you in a moment, but it's really just showing the last time they logged in, some basic information about their account. And you can lock them out if it's expired. So let's go ahead and choose the trainee. Let's pick you. We've only got one. Actually, if you want to make one more user real quick, let's go up to new trainee. Let's see how to make a new user. All right. So
I got to do it here, right?
yeah. So you can make a fictitious one if you want, or if you actually have somebody that works with you and you want them to have access with it, you can give them access to it right now. But what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to give them the full name is what I typically like Thomas Dunn. In your case, it was Johan, and then the email, and then down below there's a place for the password twice. And I always recommend that once they log in, they change the password as soon as they log in.
Right. Let's see here. I don't know what this guy's email is.
Perfect. And the password's got to be at least 6 characters, and it has to be at least one character that's not a number or a letter. It can be a space, but it's got to be at least one that's not. Okay, so now you've got yourself a user. Well, actually, the next thing it's going to do is it's going to ask you, is this a student or is this somebody that works with you that's also a trainer?
Trainer and support. I'll put trainer and support.
Okay.
Next.
All right, that's done. So that's step 1 as far as the student administrative function.
Okay, that's good.
Now let's go to the second one, which is where we're at. What you're looking at right now is the second step, course access. So now let's say we wanted to give you and Dave access to the CP training. So let's do it one at a time. Let's go with Dave first. And let's get him hooked up with CLP training. And now if you had CLP training, let's say once a month for the next year, it would list all of them here. So which one of those courses do you want him to be assigned to? So just you got 10 classes, but each class can be scheduled 1,000,000 times.
Right.
So,
I'll just put the first one there.
okay, and then you can either
Because
put
you're
a
saying
comment.
I can schedule more, right?
Yeah, if you remember the 3 buttons up at the top, it was create the classroom, prepare it, and then
Right.
schedule events. You can schedule
Right.
as many of these CLP trainings as you want.
Got it. Okay.
And then go ahead and hit submit. Perfect. Now let's do it again for you, y'all. Perfect. All right, now you're good to go. So what we just did is we did the first 2 buttons. New trainee, we added a user. Course access, we gave both you and Dave access. Let's take a quick look over there where it says account access or account status. If you have somebody that you don't want to give access to anymore, like now you have 2 users. I gave you 50, you have 2 used, you have 48 left. If you need more, let me know. We can give you 1 million if you want.
Yeah.
But what you can do here, like as an example, you can see what date that they were enrolled. You can see when the last time they logged in was, when their password was changed last. You can also, if they try to log in 5 times unsuccessfully because they forgot their password, it'll lock them out.
Okay.
If you see where it says disabled and that's checked off, it's because they were logged out. If you see that and also you see failed logins being 5, that means that they forgot their password and they just,
Right.
it shut it down for them. But you can also intentionally say, let's say Dave left the company and you want to shut Dave off. If you click edit next to Dave's name, a couple things you can do from there. You can change his email address if you'd like, but you can also lock him out. So if you hit lock, the reason I lock it rather than delete it, locking it makes it so that Dave won't be able to recover his password and he won't be able to log in. But anything that he did that was grandfathered in, you'll still have access to it.
Okay.
So that's the reason that I did what I did. So you can go ahead and hit cancel from there, and that's really it. So I'm just going to go ahead and go and review, and then we're going to take a look. So if you would, if you click on where it says MyGemba at the top, that always takes you back to the main menu. Let's go back to that reset place just to kind of see where we got to, how we got here. So from the main menu, you go into, the first thing is the training portal up in the top right corner. Perfect. And then from the training portal, where we went was if you go to trainer access, don't click it yet, but you see those 2 links at the top left, trainer access and trainee administration. If all you want to do is enroll a student, you can go right into trainee administration. If you wanted to change the classroom content or anything like that, you have to go into trainer access. So trainer access is the main root directory where we started. Let's go in there one more time just to kind of get familiar one more time. Trainer access. And you'll see the top 3 blue buttons, classroom construction, classroom preparation, and then training schedule. Those are all accessible from this button. That next one where it says trainee administration, that submenu of this, you can get there directly from the last screen if you didn't click on trainer access, but you clicked on trainee administration. Trainee administration takes you right into that same place that does. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so from here, again, you can update your classes, prepare your class by putting content in, schedule as many events as you want for all 10 classes, and then trainee administration from there. What you can do from there is you can enroll any student you want to any of your classes. The last 2 buttons in this area, one is view training area, and that's or training data, and that's really what you're looking at right now. Down below, when you create an event, it actually puts it in month, day, and then year as far as the subfolder, so it kind of looks strange. But if you look where it says training data and you pull that down, it says choose the event, it'll take you right into the right directory. Yeah. So if you had 20 events that all show up here, and as soon as you click on, let's say CLP training that starts June 5th, well, it'll take you right into that classroom, and you'll be able to see any work that either Dave or Yoel did. So I can correct their homework. I can do anything. 24/7, by the way, they can go in and actually do homework assignments so that you can then check it out. Okay?
This is good.
And the last thing you can do on this is the 6th button, the bottom one on the right. The 6th button says enter the classroom. This takes you over to the students area. Let's go take a look over there. So this is not what the student sees, but this is the student area. You being the teacher, what this is going to do is it's going to allow you to do a little bit more than the students in this classroom. So let's go take a look. Let's go to CLP as an example. Let's choose an event, and then what that does is it takes you into that class. Okay, now we're in the CLP classroom. On the left-hand side, read only, students have this same access. They have access to whatever material you uploaded here.
Okay.
On the top right corner, what they have is they have communication to their trainer 24/7. So that where it says my trainer interaction log.
So this is like a discussion board, right? This is good.
Yeah, now this help request isn't. This help request is like if you say, Tom, can you make it do this or can you make it do that? Let me know your thoughts.
Okay.
Yeah, the help request is, you know, if there's a defect, but there's not going to be. But if you have like, well, I'd like to have a report that says this or something, just let me know what it is and we'll get it created for you.
Okay.
But that where it says my trainer interaction log, what that is while you're in training, you can go ahead and close that help request thing. Yeah. I'm really just talking about right there, that white area where it says educator's name, email or text,
Right.
and a discussion log. So if the student is off, and let's say I've done a homework assignment just now, or let's say you're mentoring a project, and I think I'm going to be ready for a defined phase toolgate review tomorrow, and I want your advice. I can at any time put this in. It'll send you an email or a text, whatever you'd like, to the trainer, so that you guys have some communication beyond the classroom.
Okay.
So down below where that yellow is, if you just put in,
This is where you would type, right?
that's where you would type, and then hit the send button, and then that would send it. As soon as you do this, you can use this in Classroom, but almost every, like Zoom, WebEx, Adobe Connect, they all have some kind of a chat room. But what's kind of nice about this one is when the student's doing something beyond the class time,
Right.
they still have communication to you.
No, I like this.
And-
I think this is what when I was talking about discussion board. One of the things we've discussed on online is how do you get two things. One is either live, or the other is even something that they have questions, and then you could set up a time later on to review all the questions.
Yeah. If there's anything like that you want, for real, I'm going to ask. I'm going to challenge you. I'm not going to ask. I'm going to challenge you to think big, think out of the box, and come with me with some suggestions, and I'll do my best to make it fit you perfectly. Okay.
Sure.
So looking at this, the top left corner is the student's material area where they can get material. The right top part is the place where they can communicate offline beyond the classroom with their trainer. And then down below for you, what this is it's going to show everybody but you as far as the attendance goes. So anybody that logged in and signed in recently, it's going to show it as green. If they're in the class but they aren't green, they're red, that's because they haven't signed in yet. So you can real quickly see, let's say you had 10 people in a class, it gives you a visual as to who's actually signed in and ready to go and who's not. So, and the reason for this is a lot of times when I do training, I have to submit the attendance sheet to somebody. And this allows you to export it in different formats. So you can take that attendance sheet right from here and be able to distribute it to either HR or some agency that needs that. Now,
Yeah, this is good also with what Marty, we talked about some of the safety credits and so forth. So having this, if you will, this data, that a log of some sort, documentation is good.
Excellent. And again, the training portal, because of the pandemic, is something reasonably or recently new. And so I'm hoping that there's a lot of really good ideas that come out that can help me make it really, really awesome quick. I did the best I could for the version 1, but looking forward to seeing what version 2 is going to look like. Down below where it says miscellaneous, you'll see where it says training, view trainee work. If you click that, it toggles back and forth that top left area. Right now, the top left area is the training material that the students see. If you click that, the teacher gets to see the work. So if you said, look, here's a Pareto analysis, let me know what you concluded here. You can have them all do the work, and only the teacher has access to this toggle button. So students don't. So you can go into the classroom and actually look at anybody's work at any time in real time or offline after the class is over. Yeah, so if you click it once, you'll see the assignments, and you click it again, you'll see the work. Just trying to keep the real estate area fully functional. Now, I'm going to ask you to do me a favor. Let's go over to where it says trainee administration, the hyperlink at the top. Second, yeah, that one right there. Let's create one more user, but let's make this one not a student, even if it's a fictitious one. Let's go into where it says new trainee, the first button on the left. Yeah, let's make one more. Let's make this one somebody that's not a teacher.
Somebody that's not a teacher. Let me just think real quick.
And if you'd rather, I can share my screen and just show you what that looks like. I mean, I wanted to show you what a student sees.
Yeah, go ahead.
You want me to do that? Let me go ahead and share my screen for a moment.
Yep.
All right. I am now sharing my screen. Let me know when you see it.
I see it.
You see it? Okay,
Yep.
so right now I'm logged in as Tom Dunn. So if I go, let's say, to this Greenbelt training here, what I'll see, just like you have, I'll see my attendance down below. I'll see my slide decks and all my work up top. And then I can go into training view and I can see what anybody has actually done. So I can actually see their assignment work. But if I was logged in not as Tom Dunn, let me log in as one of my sandbox fictitious people just to kind of show you this. Let me just do this once. Let me just do this 1 second. There we go. Perfect. So now I'm a student. I'm no longer a teacher. I'm a student. So I come in, I go to the training portal, and I no longer have those two hyperlinks anymore that take me over to the trainer area. I can't add I don't have that functionality. The only thing I have is this. So when I go to start the Greenbelt training, it'll show me everything that I'm enrolled in. And in this case, I'm enrolled in one thing. It'll give me access to the material. But in order to enter into my classroom work, I've got to submit the attendance information. So once I submit this attendance information, that's what gets me access to my assignment work. So if you're the teacher and you see somebody's in the red, but they're inside of GoToMeeting or Zoom or wherever it is, then you can say, hey, make sure you sign in because we're getting ready to get started. I could have made it a robo thing where I looked to see if they were logged in, but I didn't want this to be something that they could fake out. I want them to actually have to do something so I know that they're actually physically in my classroom.
Yeah, this is good, Tom, because in some of the sessions that I have done, the HR manager normally comes sees me with a list for me to sign off on. So if there are, say, 20 people that day, normally they'll bring the list, and almost every day they were bringing a list for me to sign off. So something like this validates that too, right? You actually have to sign in.
Awesome. And again, always looking for continuous improvement, better ways to do things. So, give me your input over time if you have one, okay?
Yes.
That's really it for the training portal. So again, there's three things. There's the project management, deployment management system, there's the visual workplace, and there's the training portal. I tried to make everything as simple as I can make it without watering it down and making it not powerful. I wanted to be the best balance between powerful and easy to use. Do you have any questions on the training portal?
No, this is great. It's very easy, very intuitive, Tom. It's nicely done.
Thank you, Yul. So next, I think what we'll do is we'll go through the project management system. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing and allow you to share now.
Okay.
Yeah, that way I think we can do a lot better that way. Sometimes I go too fast when I'm driving. I'm a reckless driver.
Okay, you're doing good. All right, so I think is this my screen? I think it is.
Yeah, so you can go ahead and hit,
right?
Yeah, so you can go ahead and hit the MyGemba, yep. And before we transition into the project deployment management system, do you have any questions on the training portal?
I'm good.
Other than, I'm sure you have to go ahead and bang it around.
Pretty easy to understand and go through.
Okay, great. Okay, then let's go ahead and see what we can accomplish with the project management system. So the first thing we're going to do is we've got to set it up. Again, I tried my best to set it up for you, but there's things I don't know about you, so I couldn't set it up completely. So before we start the project and the deployment management system, let's set it up. So let's go into where it says user accounts at the top left corner. There's a hyperlink up there. Perfect. Now in here, you'll see a button that says System Config. Okay, now here's where we're going to start. Those widgets off to the right, we'll talk about them later when we talk about the visual workplace. So all that KPI, dashboard, Gemba boards, all that stuff, I'm going to skip that for now and just stay on the left-hand side. So if you have, let's say you have a client that's, doing Lean Six Sigma project or 5S Kaizen, Toyota Kata, no matter what it is, they're doing something and you train them to do it, and you're gonna mentor them or coach them to some degree. Those first checkboxes, see where it says project leader and there's an X next to it? That's because the project leader always has read and write access to their project. Others, they can contribute for sure. By default, they're the only ones that can have read and write access. In other words, anybody can go in and learn and leverage information from a project, but they can't write over it. What I did on yours is I made project mentors also be able to have read write access, so you have full control over every project. If you don't want it, you can uncheck it. You'll be able to see, you'll be able to see it, but you won't be able to change it. When it says project champions and project teams, if you check them off, they'll also be able to have access. Some of my clients want that. Most of my clients, I try to talk them into understanding that the more people that have read-write access, the more likely it is that you're going to have a hard time with accountability. So I like to have, I like to keep it where the team contributes, but somebody is the gatekeeper. But that's up to the user. So that's that. Now the next thing is where it says shifts. There's a downtime management system and a changeover there's all kinds of things in there, and some of the reporting goes by shift. So right now, by default, I give you a first shift. If you wanted to, up the top, there's a text box. If you wanted to type in like second or third, you could, or weekend or whatever it is. And you can disable anything if it doesn't make any sense. Some of the things don't need a shift, but so let's say there's only one shift. Locations. So let's say you had a client that had 12 sites or 3 different countries or whatever. By default, I just gave you global, but you can put in Chicago, you can put in Melbourne, you can put in Tokyo. You can add as many sites or facilities as you want.
Okay, that's good.
So,
you can put in client names too if need be.
You could put in client names too if you wanted to.
Yep.
And all you got to do is click add. Now, one thing I want to just mention right now, and I don't want to take up too much of your time with it other than to say this. The way I built the system, the way I architected it, there's actually 2 account numbers. There's a high-level account number, and then there's a sub-account number. And the reason that I did that is people like yourself, you might have a case where you might have like 50 clients, and you want access to all 50 clients, but you want each client to be independent and not be able to see the other clients. So I have an account number and a group number. So if you put this in as a facility with a client number, just recognize that anybody that logs in, they'll be able to see the other clients too. There's a better way of doing that. So typically where it says locations, if it's only one building, it might be, you might use this as departments, or product families or something like that. So you can do like that. Now, if you actually want to be able to see many different clients and not have them clients see each other, let me know and I'll show you how to do that as well. Is that cool?
Yes, that's good.
All right. And then business functions, if you would, just go into where it says set up for business functions right underneath location.
Okay.
Yeah, the 3 setup buttons. It's the bottom one.
Okay, sorry, I got distracted. What were you saying, Tom?
Oh, I'm sorry. That's okay. There's 3 setup buttons. One's to set up your shifts, one's to set up your locations, and one's to set up your business functions.
Yes.
Business function can be whatever you want it to be. It's really to make it so you have another layer of reporting. So some people use this and they make it so it's their departments like ops, quality department, materials, things like this. And some people use this as product families, like it's this family or that family. So it's, when they run reports, they can kind of see where are the majority of their projects, where's the majority of their savings, where's the majority of their success. So you can add whatever you want. If you wouldn't mind, just add something just so I can make sure that you know. In both the shift, the location, and the business function area, it's the same process. You type something in and you hit the add button.
Let's see.
It's as simple as that. Locations is the same thing. It's as simple as that. You just add as many as you want. When you're done, you hit finished.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I think that's the big part of the left-hand side. The other couple things I just want to make mention of. See where it says user access right next to training material? Yeah, that right there. See where it says user access? There's a checkbox. Right underneath the setup button. Yep, right underneath the setup button. Directly right underneath the setup button.
Up here?
No, see the 3 setup buttons we just did, the shift, the
Oh, right.
location,
Okay,
and the
right
business
here.
function.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah, that one right there. See the checkbox?
Yes.
If you uncheck that, you'll be able to store your training material up on the system, but they won't have access to it. So if you have
Yeah,
proprietary,
I like that. I like that's good. That's good.
yeah, so there's a training portal hyperlink that they'll have access to get over to the training portal. If you uncheck that, they will not have it.
Okay.
And you can make it so some clients have it and some clients don't have it.
Right.
You have control over that, but that's
Okay.
what that's for. Now the last part of this is the background theme and the URL on the left-hand side. So let's just go to the background theme first. There's 2 drop-down lists right there. Yeah, the one where it says industry aerospace. That's the one I picked for you right now. But
Oh, okay.
you can make the background look whatever you want, and you can make it different for each client.
Okay.
So somebody
Good.
that's in you can make it unique for each client. It gives you a little look of what the background would look
Yeah,
like.
this is good. Healthcare. Manufacturing. Yeah, sure. This works.
Okay.
I
And
like
then up above where it says MyGemba URL, that's the last thing I want to talk about, which is it's right above where it says Industry Manufacturing 1. There's another drop-down list that says Choose to Change. Yeah, right above that one. Not that drop-down, but the one right above it. Yes, yeah, right there. Okay, so let's take a look at this for a moment. It's real easy to do for each client. You can make this a full quality management system that has our ISO documents and AS9200. I mean, you can make it a full quality management system. You can make it a continuous improvement system with includes all the methodologies. You can make it just a 5S improvement management system. So you decide what it is that your client's ready for to keep it as absolutely simple and as effective as possible.
So does it take us to something, Tom, that you've put in there, or do we need to make sure we populate the 5S and so forth?
No, it's already in there. So right now, like if you hit Save Changes, it'll be a 5S management system with that image that you've just selected. Let's go try it. Open up another web browser if you would and go to mygemba.com. Let's see what would happen when you log in. See that little plus sign right next to Post Attendee Zoom? If you hit that little plus sign, it should give you another browser. Let me see, right at the very top, right underneath where it says Post Attendee Zoom, there's a little plus sign. If you click that, it'll give you another browser. In fact, if you want to, you can even use the Post Attendee Zoom and do it. I'll tell you what, don't even worry about it. Up in the URL, go ahead and just type in mygemba.com. Get rid of everything else except for mygemba.com. Let's go back into the website.
All right. Some kind of edit feature here. Hold on.
You're a good guy, man.
There we go. Come on, get out of this. Let me move this down. All right, now I can open up a browser, right?
Yeah, please. That'd be great.
Yeah, let me try. Come on, there we go. Okay, now I've got a new browser.
Okay, let's go to
MyGemba.com here.
Go to MyGemba.com. Perfect. And get rid of all that other stuff. Just MyGemba.com. Yeah, get rid of all that extra stuff. Just MyGemba.com. I want to show you what it would look like if somebody logged in. So get rid of all that GUI, run, general data, underscore, ASPX. Just have it MyGemba.com.
Okay.
Up in the URL.
Is this it?
No. Up in the address bar. Go click in the address bar where you see it says MyGemba.com.
Right.
Yep. And get rid of everything after MyGemba.com.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah, I just want to go. So if somebody logged into MyGemba.com and you set the system up the way you did. Let's
Right.
see what happens. And then go to enter. And it's a 5S management system.
Okay, because I put the 5S there, right?
Yeah, if you picked Kaizen, it would turn into a Kaizen. If you no matter whatever you pick, that's what people are going to see when they log in.
Okay.
So let's go back once, if you would. Let's go to user accounts and system config one more time. You're doing good. I'm teaching you fast and furious, but we're doing good. Let's go into system config.
And this is where I did all this, right?
And that's where you did all that. So let's go to change that back to, let's say, Lean Six Sigma or whatever else you want. Let's change it to whatever you want.
Yeah, let's try Lean Six Sigma.
Okay.
So I save.
And save. And now if you go back to mygemba.com and log in, you don't have to log out again. But yeah, if you get rid of everything except for mygemba.com right now and see what would happen when you logged in, I think what you'll find is that you just turned it from a 5S management system to a Lean Six Sigma management system.
There you go.
That's how easy it is.
Okay.
That's how easy it is.
All right.
So for each client, you can make it whatever you want it to be. You can
Depending
make it
on whatever we're teaching them and whatever we're working with. Yes.
That's absolutely right. And as they start to grow and develop their skills, you can add more functionality. So you might start out with 5S and then 5S and Kaizen and then 5S Kaizen Lean Six Sigma. You know, you can add on and keep the complexity to where it's minimized by giving them only what they're very comfortable with and ready to use.
And so if I had like if I had let's just say two clients, just so I can keep it separate. If UPS is a client and let's say Immucor is a client, I should be able to separate this where they each have their own, right?
That's exactly right. They'll only be able to go into their system, but you'll be able to go into both systems.
Got it.
Yeah, you'll have access to all your clients, and each client will have access to their stuff only.
Okay. So maybe the first thing I may do is set up a couple of client accounts.
Excellent.
Okay.
Excellent. Okay, so let's now go down through. This is just the Six Sigma module, but you know the 5S, Kaizen, PDCA. I mean, they're all similar. I mean, there's a workflow.
Sure.
You add an event, you work on it, you report on it, and so on. So let's take a look at the workflow. This is probably the most complicated of the workflow. So let's just do this one. The other ones will be less complicated than this.
Yep.
So in this case here, let's start out. Let's go through the workflow. Let me talk about it, and let's actually go through the workflow. Here's the things you can do from here. So first of all, if I was going to be teaching a client or maybe doing some deployment strategy discussions and things, what I'd probably do is give all the leadership team the ability to be able to add new ideas so they can tell me where the opportunities are in their business. The second button down where it says ideas review, this is where we can rank each idea in regards to how well it's going to align with the business strategic objectives and how risky it is of complexities and project failures. So we're going to look at each one with impact and risk. And based on resource availability, if you go to the third one, it'd be launching a project. So we're going to launch the projects that makes the most sense to launch. It's going to help our company the most. And the last two buttons is once we've pick the right battles, now it's time to fight those battles effectively. So we're going to manage the projects and report on them. So the green belts, the black belts, they're primarily going to be bouncing between the last two.
Yep.
The leadership is primarily going to probably do the first, second, and third, and the fifth.
Yes. Okay.
So let's go through the workflow once, and let's take a look at how it works. Does that sound good?
Yes, let's do it.
All right, let's put an idea in. And anything you see here, everything you see here is going to be editable by you. Yeah, go ahead and, oh, there we go. Okay, so first of all, you're going to add it, you're going to put a title in. If you had some files, let's say you had an Excel workbook that kind of expressed the performance, you can add an attachment, but you're going to give it a title. And all those drop-down lists, those are under the system config. You can change those. It's location and business areas. I mean, you can add whatever you want there. Let's just put in something. We can delete it when we're done, but let's put in something. If you,
Okay.
okay, and key benefit. And again, anywhere you see a drop-down list.
That's more of a function, right? You want more of an idea, is that?
Yeah, usually what I tell people is put down like the process area and the metric you're going to improve, like procurement lead time reduction, or procurement cycle time reduction, or procurement accuracy improvement, or something like that. So
Okay.
okay. And then the key benefit, in this case, it's going to be a time improvement, but you can change any of these drop downs, but everybody would be using your input. So it's supposed to be a time improvement, and then locations. You remember under where the setup was, you could put in as many locations as you want. That's where that would go. Yep. And under business areas, I think you put in one other one.
Shipping.
Yep, shipping. So that's where that would go.
Yep.
So under the config, that's the first thing you want to do. Okay, now now the next thing is you see that script down below? All that script is you can edit that. So you can make it look whatever you want it to look. You can make it really simple, or you can make it very informative to where you're asking them specifically what you want them to give you every time you put an idea in. This can be as much as, what's the problem, to is there any compliance issues? Is there any regulatory issues? Is there any, so you can make this wherever you want. This is by default what I have.
Okay. Non-value activities, value activities.
Yeah, you can. Now, right now, though, you're in where the users actually would use it. If you wanted to change this form, do you want to see where to change it real quick?
No, this is good. I get it. I could see it. I'm good.
Okay. Okay. So this is basically where you're asking people to be the voice of the process, the voice of the business, and the voice of the customer. Tell me about this problem that you want me to maybe consider helping you improve. And go ahead and hit submit when you're ready to go. And you've got your first idea in the system. So now let's go back to the main menu and let's see what the next step is. So really what I would do, like if I was doing, let's say I was doing Greenbelt training for 20 people. 60 days before that, I would have all the leadership teams start to populate this so that by the time I show up for Greenbelt training, we already have a good bucket load list of good ideas that have been ranked and that we prioritize and we launch them before I ever even get there.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go back now. Okay, under the menu options, if you go to the next one, which is review opportunities, which is also from the main menu, you'll see the same type of button where you review it.
Yes.
Now what we're going to see is we're going to see two things. I put one in for you before we got here, and then you got this one. So typically what I would recommend for, let's say I was doing consulting and I had a director of Six Sigma or continuous improvement. I would express to that person that once every week or two, you want to come in and look at the ideas and assess their impact and risk. And how to do that, is this. See where it says up the top, there's 4 drop-down lists. The one says project ideas to view. Yeah, the bottom right, yeah, that one right there. I normally have the person that's responsible for it to come in and look at all the project ideas that have not been reviewed yet. In other words, let me see the new ideas. So right now you're looking at, let's say there was 500 ideas and one of them came in since the last time I looked at it. I don't want to look at 500 ideas. I want to look at that one idea I haven't seen yet. So click on where it says not reviewed, and it'll show you anything that's not yet been reviewed. Okay, there's the idea that has, okay, so now if you wanted to review this so you can establish its impact and risk score, go ahead and click on the little magnifying glass and says review next to that line item.
Oh, okay. All right. Nice.
And again, every one of these attributes, as well as every one of those pull-down options, as well as every one of the weights for each pull-down options is adjustable by you. But by default, it's safety, quality, deliver, gross customer experience. But on the left-hand side, you're basically going to be looking at what the original submitter put in.
Right.
On the right-hand side, you'll be able to assess how impactful this particular idea is to the company and how much risk there is of project failure.
Correct. Okay.
And then once you're done assessing it, go ahead and throw down a couple different things just so we can kind of see how it changes the score. And if you didn't want this many attributes, or you wanted a different number of attributes, I mean, if you wanted it more simple, some people like it more complicated, some people like it more simple. And for me, I try to make it so that whatever you want, we'll make it happen. But
No, this is good. Okay, it looks good. I see what we're doing here. I'm good.
See what you're doing? Go ahead and put an estimated savings in there of something. Let's say that maybe there's no monetary value on it, but let's just throw in there because I want to show you where that shows up.
Okay.
All righty, and then estimated cost of the project. We don't know what the root cause is, so that's hard to tell. But and then let's change the review status to probably reviewed and approved for launch if we have resources.
Just put currently in review, reviewed, approved to launch. Okay. Save changes.
Save changes. And now what we've done is we reviewed that project. So let's click the main menu logo once and let's see where we are. Let's see where we are. Okay, so we added an idea. We reviewed the idea. Now let's go in where it says launch project. We'll just follow this right the way all the way through. Okay. Oh, you must not have. You must not have changed that. Let's go back to review one more time and let's take a look and make sure that we change those couple of things. Let's change at least one thing. Okay, go ahead and hit the review magnifying glass next to the lead time reduction project.
This one, right? Yeah.
Yes. All right, let's change that to $10,000.
Cost. I put $1,000. Is that okay? That's reasonable, right?
Oh, whatever you put's good. I just want to make sure that everything's working right for you. My team built this literally today.
Here, review, approve, launch, right?
That sounds perfect.
And then save.
And then save. And I'm still looking to see the save thing. Go ahead and click save one more time because I don't see it saving. I'm looking at, now I see it saving. There it is. I see the hourglass thing up there moving. Okay. All right, now let's go back to launch projects.
Okay, now at least I see a number here.
Oh, okay. But we didn't change the values. We didn't change any of the attributes.
Yeah,
okay,
I didn't
that's
change
cool.
the risk, but that's okay.
Okay.
But I see
from
that.
Here, yeah, so it did update it. So from here, though, you can also launch it. You can review it by clicking on the magnifying glass, and then there's a radio button underneath launch. If you can launch it or review it. So if you click on the one right next to it, that'll allow you to launch the project. Let's see how that works. All right, so now there's the estimated savings and cost. And now, what kind of project is this? If you pull that down, you'll see what I gave you by default. You can add as many project types as you want. You can add design for Six Sigma. You can add whatever you want. But by default, that's what it is. If you wanted to pick a different workflow, what that's going to do is it's going to provide the project leader with a standard operating procedure so that we reduce their variation. Okay, and you're the only user? No, you're not. There's also Dave Boss. Okay, so
Let's see.
Okay, so now when you pick that last one as being the project leader, it's going to construct an email. It's going to send you an email saying, hey, you got a project coming up. How about coming to my office? I want to talk to you a little bit.
Yeah.
That was my New York accent.
Yes, it works. Okay. So
Okay.
I launched the project, right?
Yeah, but see where it says hello name? Put your name in there, Yul, because it's actually going to send you an email. It's going to say, hello, Yul. By the way, this is Yul. Because the email is going to be from you and to you.
Do I take the brackets out or it's okay?
You can, yeah. It's just an email. It would probably look a lot better if you take it out.
Yeah.
It's not a software thing. It's
Okay, I thought maybe it was a software thing. So, okay, we're good. Launch.
You're good. You go ahead and hit launch. And we're all set. Now go ahead and hit the logo. Go ahead and hit the logo at the top. I want to go back and just see where we are from there. So here's what we did. We put in a new idea. We reviewed it. We launched it.
Right.
And now if you go back into review or launch, either one, you won't see that idea anymore. It's no longer an idea. It's an active project. So if you go in there, you only see one idea, the one I gave. The one you gave is no longer there. It'll be an idea. Go ahead and click on that. Let's see.
Yep.
Okay, so that's no longer in the idea bank anymore. Go ahead and click on the logo one more time, or there, and let's go into Manage Project. Now imagine you only got one user, you and Dave, but you really only got one user right now. So, but if there was, let's say there was 25 projects in a client site being worked on at the same time, as a user logs in, they're only going to see the project that's assigned to them. So there might be 25 projects, but they're only going to see the one that's assigned to Yul in this case. Everyone logs in, they're going to get their projects and their project only. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So if there was a lot of projects and one was assigned as the project leader, Yul, and one was assigned to Dave Boss, Dave would log in, and right here, Dave would see Dave's project, and when you log in, you'll see your project. Go ahead and click on Select next to the project you want to work on. You can work on as many projects simultaneously as you want. Right now, you got one project. And this is what your project looks like from default. So from default, it's got a define phase, and there's just a basic workflow. I don't try to stifle innovation out of the box thinking. I just want to give them some basic milestones so that we can keep them minimize variation. You can change these workflow steps, but these are the default workflow steps. And if you scroll down, you'll see that there's the measure phase and analyze and improve and control phase. So it's all just basically one big workflow. Help keep
It
things.
standardizes it, right? It's good that this is good.
Well, it's funny because, I've been teaching this stuff since the early 80s. And, we constantly tell people about how it's important to be standardizing. And yet we teach something as complicated as Lean Six Sigma, and we don't give them a standard.
Yeah.
And for that reason, there's all kinds of variation. So this is basically just where the project leader does the work. And you can modify this big time. It's very easy to modify. I'll show you that here in a little bit.
Okay, this is good.
So if you scroll to the top, let me give you a couple tips on this screen here. So actually scroll down just to the define phase for a moment. The way this is designed to work is you'll see a checkbox at the top of something that's in their work standard to do, and down below you'll see a place where they can summarize what they've learned. So when it says project scope, we've examined relevant business data and minimized the scope the best we could. Here's where I would say, we Paretoed it out. We found that 45% of all our defects was because of this. So I'd articulate the scope. So there's a checkbox as to what needs to be done at the top. There's a summary information down below. Now, if you need a tool, let's say you need a Pareto analysis, or you need some kind of a statistical analysis or a process map or something. If you go into the DMAIC toolbox, see the hyperlink that says DMAIC toolbox? There's two hyperlinks. One says project file storage, yes, and one says DMAIC toolbox. If you click on the DMAIC toolbox, it'll open up this area here. So, a lot of times I'll do a gig where like the black belts will have Minitab and the green belts will have a 30-day trial Minitab, and then there are no tools anymore. So I always say, if you have tools, go ahead and use them. If you don't, I want to make sure you always have tools. So this is a whole toolbox that comes with it. Every user is allowed to use them. And they're easy to use, and they're extremely powerful and easy to use. I made every one of them myself, And I think if you open any of them up, you'd say, wow, that really is pretty good. Yeah, they're all Excel, so you don't need to worry about IT saying, well, you got to install some software. They're all ready to go. Let me show you how this one works if I could.
Yeah.
We don't have any data, but on this first one, it's a setup. So what's the project title? What process is being improved? How much is your improvement goal? So you fill out this little inquiry for a moment or two, and then you go over where it says data entry. Let's go to the next worksheet over. It says data entry.
Okay.
And now we're in column A. Just say we're going to make a real easy Pareto real quick, but let's call this defect, or let's call this operator, and then B will be defect. Yeah, just to make it. Yeah, and then we'll call that like Bob, Jim, Tom, or something. No, I'm sorry. Like in row 2, we'll call row 2 the operators. Like that might be Tom, Bob, Jim.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No. And then B will make that be the defect. We're just gonna put some real quick data in there so we can play around.
Okay, and then you want some names?
Yeah, let's throw 4 or 5 names in there. That's my mother's name. Tom's my name. Marty Abbott's name.
There you go. How's that?
Okay, that's good. Put my name down twice, though. Yeah, put my name down twice, just so we can make sure that it doesn't just look at each line item, but it sums them together, the product of sum. So now let's just put in some numbers there next to each one, like Tom. Let's put let's say 7, and then 3 and 4 and 2 and 7. I actually, when I teach at the university, I got data that's in there like 5,000 rows of data, but this is a good example just to get us started. So let's go ahead and go into the next worksheet that says 2 Pareto analysis. Okay, and now the first thing you want to do is where it says cost or count data, let's pull that down and find the column that has our cost or count data. In this case, it's going to be the defects. We're counting the defects. And the next one's going to be the factor. We only have 1 row of data, which is the operator, but let's go ahead and take a look at that.
Oh, wow. Okay. Nice.
So what it does down below is it gives you a run chart. So if you actually had like 1,000 rows of data, you can kind of see how that works. Now,
right.
what I did for those lines, you see the red line. If we get that first Pareto bar down to the red line, we'll have met our 25% improvement that we had in our setup.
Correct.
Sometimes the first Pareto bar won't quite get you there. The brown bar with the brown bars is if you make sure all bars are below the brown bar, you'll also meet the objective. So in this case here, just getting the first Pareto bar down to the red, that looks like a reasonable scope. It looks like we can do that. If I can get Tom to be as good as Yo, Marty, and Dave, I think we're all set.
Correct.
But
Okay.
That's how that one works.
That seems like you just have to work with Tom, really, right? Because
Yeah, we got to fix Tom. That daggone Tom guy needs.
I know. All right. Yeah, Tom, that'll keep you humble.
Yes, it will. Yes, it will. All right, so that's that one. Is there any other tools you want to look at before we rock and roll on the rest of this?
No, I'm good. I get it. Now I understand how this is working, so this is great.
Okay, let's go back to the web browser. We're rocking and rolling. Some good tools, though.
Yeah, absolutely. I like them. This is
All right,
great.
you can close
I'll
this
spend some time
browser
with this.
down.
I know you sent me something to watch a video, and I didn't get a chance to get into the video. But this is great.
Awesome. You can go ahead and close this browser down. It opened up another web browser called File Downloads. Yeah, you can close that one out. And now, if you, let's say that when you're into the MyGemba project management system, that you need a tool, as an example, when you're in a defined phase, you might say, I want a Gantt chart for the timeline. Here's a Gantt chart in the toolbox. Anytime you need a tool, you can get it from the toolbox. When you use some kind of analytical tool, see where it says project file storage? There's a hyperlink next to the DMAIC toolbox.
Right.
That's going to be your project file storage area. So this will open up again another browser. There it is.
Okay.
And we just launched this project. When you launch a project, what it does is it gives you this 5S kind of folder where everything has a place and there's a place for everything. So when they're doing their defined phase work, they would drag and drop or browse and put things in their defined phase. If they're in a measure phase, they would put it in there. So from a mentoring perspective, it makes it a lot easier for me to mentor because I know where things are at.
Okay. This is all good. All good. Okay.
Okay. You can go ahead and close out this. And now we're going to go right over to. All right. So that's pretty much it. This is just a basic workflow where they can summarize what they've learned as they do it. It gives them the tools to be able to complete tasks if they need one. And it gives them a place to store their files if they have files to store. So if you look at both the checkboxes and you look at the memo fields where they can document, I intentionally didn't hard code it. I wanted you to be able to have the flexibility to be able to make this as elaborate as you want. And by not hard coding it, it allowed me to do that. So let me show you where you can change this workflow to match your training perfectly. Can I do that?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, let's go up to the menu, PI menu options, where it says PI menu options. Okay, and go down at the very bottom where it says workflow edit. Only the teachers or the administrators have the ability to be able to change the workflow. So let's say you want to change the Six Sigma or the Lean workflow or whatever workflow. Go ahead and click on edit next to the name. Okay, you see where it says description of problem and all that verbiage? Yeah. That's where you can change that.
Okay.
Down below where it says define phase, you can change the name of the phase. You can change the wording and the steps. You can make it whatever you want.
Okay, all right. Even though I like what you put there, but I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah, yes. I mean, sometimes there might be a little bit of a threshold of difference between me and your consultants. This allows you to make it just like your consultants. I don't want your consultants to have to look like me.
Right.
But just continue to do what you do. But if there's gaps, you can reconcile them right here.
Yeah, this is good. This is good. I would sit down with them and maybe put it together. Let them have some input on this.
Yeah. And anything you do where you say, look, I want to get this up and running and I want it to work out really good. If you guys can come up with, what you want, let me know. I'll be happy to fill the gaps. I mean, I can get in there and do this for you too. I mean, until you guys get comfortable. So use me however you want is basically what I'm saying.
No, this is pretty, Tom, you made it very user-friendly.
Well, thank you. I think that's what happens when you spent 42 years in continuous improvement. You try to make things easy.
That's right. That's right. Well, the intent of this being is that people who are being trained may not be as familiar with all the wording and so forth, but at least it's user-friendly enough that if they don't understand it, they can read it, they can spend some time with it, and not be afraid to look at it. And go through it.
That's cool. That's very cool. Do me a favor. Click on the logo at the top. I want to take you to a couple more places, and then we'll spend the rest of our time, if we have any left, on Visual Workplace, okay? Okay. So a couple things. You do have 50 users, so, and if you need more, let Marty and I know. We want you to be successful. But if you make your colleagues a username and password as an example, they can come to this main menu. You see where it says videos down below? There's a hyperlink that says quick guide PDF, and there's another hyperlink that says videos.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Now this is just for the Lean Six Sigma module, but if you click that, let's see where that takes you. And I did this so that, like, if you had 10 people in your class, you don't need to teach them. You can just say, hey, look, by the end of this week, I want to make sure you read video or watch video 1 and 2. I want you to know how to add ideas and review them.
Nice.
Or maybe, we're getting ready for Greenbelt training. I want you to learn how to launch projects with MyGemba. So these are quick guides to help. In 12 minutes, you can know everything you need to know about how to use the MyGemba system in regards to the Lean Six Sigma module.
What's this other apps, Tom?
Well, right now we only have the Lean Six Sigma module open. If you click that other apps, what it'll do is it'll give you a little description of what, like, the Kaizen management system is, the Kappa management system, the document control library. So it kind of gives you some information on some of the other things. So you can kind of dive in and kind of take a look and see what some of the other things do. Because there's a lot of functionality here.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so if you go ahead and click on where it says MyGemba main menu, that'll take you back where you was.
All right.
Okay, now we're back here. Okay, so the last thing I want to show you is reports. Let's go to Project Report. Excellent. On the left-hand side, you've got 4 project level reports. And on the right-hand side, you've got a handful of deployment level reports. So if I was a project leader, I'd be on the left side. If I was a head of continuous improvement, I'd be on the right side. So on the left side, let's go to Project Charter for a moment. And the project charter is just a one-page document. It's just going to show the defined phase. All those drop-downs at the top, those are filter controls, so you can find your projects really easily. So let's say there was 50 projects. You could either, since there's only one project in here, lead time reduction, there's no need for filtering. But I mean, if this was a big enterprise system, there's a lot going on, you'd want to be able to do that.
This is good. I like it.
And you can also, down there where it says enter text to search, you can also put in a keyword like lead time or reduction or something like that, and it'll also find it by keyword. But how I typically use it is if I'm a champion and I want to see what all projects I'm championing, so I want to do a progress update today, I just find my name under champion, and it'll show me everything that I'm project championing. If I'm a project leader, I might go to under project leader and find mine that way. Or if I'm a mentor. Okay, and then go ahead and click on View Report. And all this is it's a read-only method. So, when you go into Project Manage, you can get access to your project and your project only.
Okay.
When you go into Reports, you got access to every project, read-only. So from here, I can get a written copy of the project charter, and there's a little file, like a floppy drive icon. If you click that down, you'll be able to see you can export this in an Excel, PDF, or Word document. So if you wanted a hard copy, you could do that. And also, when you're managing a project, you can put your Pareto diagrams and things like that inside of your project. Here, you can't put anything in, but you can see their Pareto diagram. So if I'm in the company and someone else did a project that's similar to what I'm doing, I can leverage and learn and take advantage of some of the things that they've already done. So up there where it says View File Storage, if I click on that, that'll take me to that file storage area where anything that the project leader put in here, I'll have access to. So if they have a process map that's in the define phase or analyze phase or wherever they put it, I can take advantage of that. If they have a cause and effect diagram, I can take and see what they've done. I can learn from them if they have something that might be related, that might be beneficial to me.
Okay.
Again, you won't be able to upload or download files into it. I mean, you won't be able to upload files to it, but you can download them from here. So
right.
you can take advantage of it.
That's good.
Okay. All right. Unfortunately, because you got one project in there, the deployment reports aren't going to be that helpful. But go ahead and close this browser out. Let's go back to the other one. Yeah, this browser here is just the file storage. Go ahead and just close him out. I want this file storage. Yeah, the X. Let's just get rid of that browser completely. There you go. All right, let's go back. Let's hit where it says return. There's a return button there. All right. Yeah, these deployment reports aren't going to be all that great, but like the on-time delivery report, what it does is it's going to look at all the projects in the system, and it's going to flag out anything that's late for a toolgate review. The deployment report's going to show you like utilization of people, like how many people do we have trained, how many of them are actually currently in a project versus how many of them do we have trained that are not being utilized. So there's some really good reports, and I think as you start to play around and getting some stuff in here, I think it's going to be really helpful. Down below, like what you're looking at down below, this is really just the work in process. It kind of shows you where all your project is, where the WIP is at. So in this case, you have one project that's a time improvement, it's in the define phase, and that's it. If you had, let's say over the course of the year, you had 5 projects complete, 3 of them right now are currently in the improved phase, 1's in the analyze phase, 4's in the measure phase. You can kind of see the whole workflow as to where everything's at.
This is good. This is the, okay, export. Okay. That's
Yeah,
good.
you can export any of those as well.
Right. Okay.
Okay. Well, let me ask you a question. I mean, you can see, I mean, it took me a long time to build this system. I'm not going to be able to obviously get through everything, but I think that right now what we've done with the project management deployment level system is I think we've given you enough to where when you go into the 5S or the Kaizen or the PDCA or something like that, you'll see that the workflow is real. The way you use it is exactly the same. So you'll say, oh, yeah, this is easy. They're all very much so related. Do you want to do any more on the project and deployment level? We've got 12 minutes left, and I'll spend as much as I want, but I don't want to be disrespectful with your time.
Tom, I'm really good. I think what I need to do is, once I get started and do this, that's probably when I'll learn the most.
Okay.
You've helped me by helping me drive, so that makes a difference. But I probably want to sit down with a couple of people and really go through this thing.
Okay.
So I think it's more on me right now than on you.
Okay. If you ever want another small dose, not like this, I just fed you through a fire hose pretty quick. But you're a sharp guy. I can tell you were getting it big time. But if you ever want another dose of the visual management tools like the GEMBA boards, those are really nice for people that are doing lean.
Yes.
The KPI boards, things like that. Let me know. I'll be happy to sit down with you and go through them. There's nothing to them, but again, it's not that anything's hard. It's just that it does a million things.
Right.
The system's very powerful.
I liked all of those. I want to go through all of that. And in some ways, maybe even take a look and see if what I have versus what you have, and maybe adjust what I have if possible.
Yeah, I respect your tons, man. I've enjoyed you big time, and I'm sorry for yapping at 100 miles an hour, but
all right, this is good. This is
trying to give you as much power as I can give you.
Yep. No, we're good. I really appreciate it. I think it's very intuitive also, so that helps. And one of the things that'll help next week as we have this meeting with all the consultants, you're going to join in, right, Tom?
I will, yes.
Yeah. It'll be important to, of course, I know you're going to go through some things, but what they will see is how powerful this is for anything that they're doing. It doesn't have to be, anything that they're doing with the client, to be able to go there and say, hey, we have this, because you're doing the whole tracking on this. We do a PMO. We have a whole PMO section in our consultancy that we do, but you've actually really helped that PMO by putting all the information that PMO would normally track. It's tracked as a project here. So,
is there anything that you could recommend for Marty and I as we go into that discussion so that we focus on the right things in the right areas? I mean, me and Marty have an idea of what that would be, but hearing from you might be better.
yeah. I think the biggest strength, Tom, is to be able to show them that they can use this not only online, but this can also be done on site.
Oh, okay.
Where let's say I'm with a client and I've got a team of people, I could actually do it with them. What do you
I'm
think?
writing
about
notes.
that? I mean, they would have to subscribe to they would each have to have the portal, right? But do you see this strictly online, or do you see this also where we get in front of a client and we have 8 or 10 people and we do this on site?
Well, my feedback to that would be this: when I first built this system, it was before I think we just broke into having 29 kilobytes of download speed for the modem. I mean, when I first had this system, there was no online. I mean, it was setting up the start and stop bits of a modem, and I mean, it was back in the old days. So, I mean, I never built this to be online. But since technology and these different platforms have come about, it has also been a very good tool to be able to help me move things to be more efficient online. But no, I do a lot of project mentoring, and the reason I do a lot of project mentoring is because I've got the tools that allow me to do that.
Right.
I actually built the system because I had more work to do than I could possibly do. I needed to be able to get things to help me be better, faster, and cheaper. And this tool was really designed for me to be able to do more project mentoring than I was able to do, because the capacity, the demand was more than I could handle. So I agree. It's very much so good for on-site. I mean, but then again, let's say you go on site for a week and then the client's got the 3 weeks worth of work to do. It's nice to be able to check in with them.
Yes.
Remotely.
Yes. That's exactly right. I'm also looking at this even for some JDIs, right? Just do it, where maybe a manager might want one of their employees who's got something that they're working on a project and maybe get involved with that too.
Yeah, I try to make sure that for like the just do it, and for people that have very little or no training, I don't want to burden them with anything. But what I do want to do is I want to capture knowledge. So
Correct.
if there's a just do it, I want to capture what they've done without putting a stumbling block in their way.
Yes.
If you look at the Just Do It module or the Just Do It methodology, it's pretty much something like this. Something, I forget exactly. Well, I'll tell you what, give me one moment. Give me one moment. I just want to real quickly find out. Oh, I'm looking at your screen. Let me go ahead and look at my screen. Maybe that's why I can't adjust your.
You want me to stop sharing? I'll stop sharing. Okay.
No, there we go. I think we're all set. So, okay, so let me just show you. You should see my screen. So if I go into here, let's go into workflow real quick just to see what the workflow is for. I mean, I made it really, really simple. And if it's not simple enough, you can make it even simpler. But here's what I did. There's only 3 steps. There's only 1 phase. What are you planning to do? What impact do you expect to achieve? And document the details of what the work you've done.
Right.
And you can make it even simpler than that. But all these NAs, these don't appear. That's as simple as it is.
Right.
So when you get down to their thing, it gives you a place to document what you're planning, a place to put why you are, and comments. And that's all. It's just simple as that. Just so we can retain anything that we've done. Yeah, I try to make everything as simple as possible without making it so that we don't have the power anymore, because I've diluted it too much to be able to accomplish what we got to set out to do.
Right.
Well, I appreciate you big. I appreciate you big
I
time.
think I'm just present this, talk a little bit about what you've done, maybe from your background.
Okay.
Some of the success you've had in doing this, that would be helpful.
Okay.
And I think that's good. You're set.
Okay. We'll do our best for you, buddy.
They're looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward to it too.
I got a lot of traction when I said we were going to do this.
I'm glad. I really am. I'm looking forward to it. I love opening people's eyes to some things that might give them some relief, give them some extra benefit, give them some extra punch or push, help move them, get out of wherever we are, see if we can't move it a little bit farther.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're going to have majority of the folks are going to be the senior consultants, but you'll have some juniors and you'll have some interns. So it'll be nice. You'll have a good mix because the interns, they'll also learn a lot from this.
Excellent. Well, excellent. If you can think of anything that, well, if you need anything, but also if you can think of anything you want to share with me so that me and Marty can
Okay.
deliver the goods the best we can, let me know, okay?
That's fine. And we've got a Tuesday meeting, right? Preset to just review next week, I think, before Marty has set up some
Yeah.
time with me just to review what you guys are going to talk about.
Yeah, I didn't spend much time on it other than I did get that email, but I haven't had a chance to really look at it. But yeah, there's something on Tuesday and then
I
and
just
then on
wanted
Friday.
to, I just like to preview at a very, I don't need to go through all the slides, but I'd just like to preview what you guys are going to go review, just so I can introduce you guys and I'm familiar with what's being presented.
That makes total sense. Makes total sense. And we'll be ready to make some adjustments
Yep.
if we've missed the mark in any way.
Yep. We should be fine.
All right. Well, thank you so much,
Tom.
Joel.
I appreciate it. Thank you for your time and thank you for being patient with me. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for being a hard worker, man. You just spent 90 minutes, but you're gonna need to go get some supper after that. All right, buddy. You have a spectacular one, my friend. I'll talk to you soon.
Enjoy your weekend. Have a good evening.
You too.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks again. Okay. Bye, Tom.